Hey UConn Nation, it's KK Arnold here. If you're looking for the latest UConn women's basketball content, go subscribe to Listen Up to Phil and Ryan. Go Huskies!
Thank you, KK. Phil and Ryan will listen up. And Ryan, we have to apologize to him for coming on so late, but we appreciate everybody. We hope to catch us in the morning. A big blowout win for the UConn Huskies, Ryan. And you're live. You're not live from Landover, but you just returned. So again, that number reached the sub number keeps on climbing up. So Ryan, I felt like that we just had to do it for a second. I don't know why it just crossed my mind. I'm like, I'll just tell Ryan, how about skip a game recap? But no, 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 no. They came through so well. They keep coming through so well these last couple weeks. We had to shout out to them, and especially we had to shout out to these UConn Huskies.
Yeah, I feel like, I'm saying the same thing every single episode, but you guys have been coming through so much and so often. It's really been probably our best start to the year for a UConn season, the way that all of you guys have continued to come through. So again, we appreciate it, every single one of you so much. It's been a great start to the year. And yeah, it's a pretty late game recap, but we would certainly never miss a UConn Huskies game recap.
Let's go. I love you a lot, brother. Let's go. Final score 104 to 39. It was UConn all over Xavier. Rye, this is a game you expected this, to say the least. But to get down into it, what did you think about this one? Allie Ziebell. We haven't said her name much at all since she arrived in UConn. She scored 16 points and made five of number one UConn's season high 18 three-pointers to lead the Huskies to a 104 to 39 win of Xavier on Sunday. So with that said, Ryan, first of all, shout out to Isabel. Congratulations to her. But Ryan, I think what's your take on this? Because I don't think it's easy to make any kind of three pointers, no matter what team you're facing in basketball. So I think I we didn't predict this. I didn't hear you talk about threes, and neither did a lot of other people. I think this is a really good sign all of a sudden. You're telling me a season high in 3 point. Now I get it. I know it's Xavier, but hear me out on this. I think it's challenging to make threes, period. So man, oh man, we're not even to January yet.
Yeah, I think this is UConn's best offensive performance of the season so far. Making 18 three-pointers is certainly not easy to do against any team, but it was a lot of early defense to start this game. Xavier really struggled, like many teams that UConn plays, really struggled to score there in the first quarter. They did gain a little bit of momentum there towards the end of the first 10 minutes, but UConn scored 15 points off of 11 Xavier turnovers in that first 10 minutes. And the Huskies, like we already said, really opened up the scoring by catching fire from three. Shooting 18 of 36 from 3-point range is pretty crazy. But it was nice to see Ashlyn Shade as well find a hot hand in that second quarter, one of her best offensive performances of the season. So hopefully she can keep that going. A lot of positives on offense. The spacing was good, ball movement was superb, and UConn's defense forced Xavier to have 31 total turnovers, which is quite a quite a few handful worth of turnovers. So very hard for any team to win when you have 31 turnovers. And yeah, Allie Ziebell off the bench, five three-pointers, 16 points. AZ had 12 points from four three-pointers. Both Sarahs played great again today. Just another overall great team win from the Huskies. I kind of expect this is how most Big East games will go. Maybe not this big of a blowout every game, but this is certainly a heck of a way to kick off the Big East play.
For sure. We'll get down into comments because I know it is far, far from bedtime, Rye. We are way past our bedtime. But Rye, yeah, I mean, when you talk about, let's go over to the box score like I always go to for you, the team stats before we get into comments. Rye, for the Huskies, three-pointers, 18 to 36. You said it, 50% on their three-point percentage. Usually we don't see that, right? We don't see that. So That's big, and I like that a lot. Ryan, on their free throws, they had 16 of 22, shot around 72%. So, Ryan, again, a big win, 104 to 39. Let's go over to comments. And this was from the last video, UConn Huskies last check-in at Xavier. Grobel said UConn should really try to get the Big East to go down to 16 league games. They moved up to 20 from 18 this year is bad. UConn picking up four more out of conference games versus good programs would really be beneficial. No conference game will be within 25 points unless UConn plays absolutely horrendous. We've talked about this since we've been on this podcast, partner. Yeah, something about this NCAA. I don't know when they're going to get together, Rye, but to me, it has to be pretty soon.
Yeah, I can't say I disagree. I know we've had a podcast before about when there was rumors with UConn possibly changing conferences. I think it's tough because obviously for the UConn Huskies, well, I mean, I guess and basketball, men's and women's basketball teams, it would benefit them to probably go into a tougher conference in terms of the level of the teams that they're facing, but you start to get the other sports involved. So I'd imagine it's not as easy as it sounds to just change conferences all of a sudden. But yeah, I mean, I think in terms of the UConn Huskies, their out of conference schedule is certainly very challenging. I would say every single year. So I think UConn always does a good job with that, making sure to schedule tough out of conference opponents to make sure this team is ready to go come playoff time and facing those higher level teams. But like I said, I agree. I don't think any of these Big East games will be very close at all.
Jim Riddich said Xavier at Cincinnati, then 2 days later at South Florida is a lot of quick travel. I hope the ladies aren't too affected. I hope Ryan's not too affected. Ryan, you talk about a quick turnaround.
Yeah, yeah, certainly. I think it's good in a way. UConn got the week-long break, and then of course their first true away game was tonight or today, and then of course now they have to turn around from I guess Ohio and go down to South Florida. So certainly a quick turnaround for the team as well, but certainly I think they should be able to handle it fairly well, and they'll get a couple away games under their belt, and then come back home against DePaul.
Robert Mathers said, thanks, Phil and Rye, with a red heart. No, right back at you, Robert. Thank you. We thank you for all the love and support. How about one more, Rye? Robert White. Thank you, Robert White. He says, Sarah Williams looks really uncomfortable with us. I think she's having second thoughts on signing with us, and Ashlyn Shade looks like she's regressed from her first and second year with us as well.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think for Sarah Williams, with her playing at Wisconsin, she certainly had a great 3 years with that team. But I think it was the right move for her to go into the transfer portal. Certainly, if she wanted to come compete for a team that was most likely going to make the playoffs, and for her, I'm sure it really matters to her to try to win a championship or make it really far into March Madness, since she didn't have the opportunity to do that with Wisconsin. I really hope for Sarah Williams she gets involved a little bit more. I think she played pretty solid again today, but it's kind of a repeat performance, I would say, out of her for a lot of these games. Kind of gets involved early, and then later in the game, we really don't see that much of her, and she's kind of hanging around that 20-minute mark, or maybe a little bit less than that. So I think that's maybe what her role will be for a lot of the season. And in terms of Ashlyn Shade, I feel like she's been heating up just a little bit. So I think she does a lot of different things for this team. Doesn't always have to be the explosive offensive play out of her, but I certainly think she's going to continue to heat up in terms of offensive play for Ashland Shade.
Rye, I appreciate you a whole lot. I will let you get some sleep. Everybody else, get some sleep if they are watching this one, right? I don't know about about this late at night, but hey, I will see you in about roughly 17 hours. That quick of a turnaround for the last check-in. Huskies and the South Florida Bulls. Phil and Rye, listen up.